Hey guys, welcome to Sopi Mix Studio Umbiamas, conectando Aruba com o mundo via vídeo podcasting. Conectar conosco, compartilhar ideias e histórias para nos inspirar e papel com abrir. Sopi Mix Studio é plataforma de podcast na Aruba. Follow-nos no Facebook, subscribe no YouTube ou na plataforma de podcast preferida. Escute o podcast preferido que hora e onde está. Sopi Mix Studio, powered by Qredits. Botiu ideia? Qredits educa e prepara a para ser um empresário exitoso. De business plan, guia personal e préstamo para negócio até com 100,000 florin. Bira para mês donho com Qredits. Sopi. Passa na Sopi para o sop, salada, wrap ou flatbread e mais fresco. Com 7 localidades rond Aruba. Nós está cerca de Sopi. SwingMasterz. Organizando events, conferences of weddings, mister de luz, sound, staging, DJ, trussing of flat screen, SwingMasterz está claro para ser boa fiesta éxito. SwingMasterz. E agora, Sopi Mix Studio é plataforma de podcast de Aruba está apresentar
PillowTalk, powered by SuccessBlizz. There is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. Yonilove, seduce from within. Matiz, enhancing your brand. Buon noche, good evening in the month of love, February. Welcome to PillowTalk, damas y caballeros. Placer patingbo sa awinochi. Nos está live kinang na Sopi Mix Studio. Ladies, good evening and welcome.
Buon noche, good evening.
Buon noche,
Hi.
good evening. Mi Chuchi all the way
Good
in Nueva
evening,
York.
ladies.
¿Cómo estás?
Very good.
So nice
Hope
to
you bom
see
e bota.
you. Oh, nos está tremendo. Absolutely fabulous. Nos quero dar uma danke na nos sponsor na di tour Simang, Subway, Qredits, and SwingMasterz. And of course, a great thank you pa Sopi Mix Studio. Sing abo nos notei turanoche no every Wednesday. E también, of course, nos duna danke na SuccessBlizz, Yonilove Aruba, and of course, Matiz. What did I say? Matiz? No, Matiz. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I've had a very busy day today. Mistake. But anyways, let's continue. Awe noche nos tabay papio over the weaving and expansion of energy. Y awe noche nos ta make a little twist in nos podcast. Nos tabay switch over to the international language of English. For all our international listeners, we thank you for tuning in to our podcast of PillowTalk. We are super excited to have all of you here. We've decided to change our podcast and do it in English all the way so everybody can listen together with us. So shout out to all of you out there. Tonight we talk about Tantric sex. What is Tantric sex? What does it mean? How does it work? And some other tips and tricks that will be very interesting. Dina's going to talk about Tantric sex above 50. We're going to have Tantra for one. Interesting. How does that work? And of course, we're going to dive into the erotic side, the sensual side, and the sexual side. But before we start with that, I want to talk about what is Tantric sex. Because when I did my research, trying to figure out what it is, I said in the beginning, the weaving and expansion of energy. That's basically what Tantric sex is. It is a slow meditation form of sex where the end goal is not to orgasm, because many people think Tantric sex is about that amazing blowing mind, that out of body experience orgasm, but it's not about that entirely. It's about enjoying the sexual journey and the sensations of the body, being more in tune with yourself, getting to know and raising that level of spirituality and that energetic level that is mind-blowing. Definitely, right?
Definitely.
So when I was doing my research about tantric sex, there's a lot of beliefs, there's a lot of research, there's a lot of topics, or there's a lot of understandings of where it comes from. The biggest conclusion is that it started in India about 1,500 years ago. They also say it is a combination of yoga and Kama Sutra. So there's a lot of definitions of what actually tantric sex is. But tonight we're going to talk about the spiritual and the energetic level and how you can use it in your everyday life, how it can help you to continue to grow and expand in your regular life. Because if you're not in tune with your personal energy, if you're not in tune in how you expand it and make it glow, everything around you just sort of like gets a little dull. If I say that correctly, right, ladies?
Yeah.
I am totally with you.
If I may add,
Please.
Tantric sex as we know it right now, is what it has evolutionized since it came to the Western world. So that was around like in the 19th century, and it became a sacred sexuality.
Ah, interesting.
Because if we dive really deep into what tantric sex really is, there's a lot of different culture in Buddhism, Tantric, Japanese Buddhism, etc., etc. So we will have a very long night tonight if we dive into the history.
Aha! Yes, I agree with you, because the history indeed is so diverse and it's so extended that you can, like you say, we can talk hours about it, because there's so many different theories, so many different understandings. So yeah, I totally agree with it. But yeah, we're going to try and keep it simple. And techniques. Yeah, we don't want to talk. We don't even want to start about all of those techniques, because that'll be till tomorrow morning, if not longer. I mean, when I was doing research, it was like 2 a.m. I was like, okay, now I got to go to bed, because it is so interesting when you learn and you read about the tantric sex, about what it's all about. So that's why tonight, for our listeners, we chose to talk about the sensual side, the energy side, how you can do it by yourself, because we talk about self-love all the time. And this tantric sex has no beginning, has no middle, and no end. It's not focusing on the orgasm, but it is definitely focusing on self-love. Yes. So I think that was definitely a topic for tonight. Dina, I know you want to talk about tantric and over 50, but I'm sure you have a little bit more about tantric sex before we get to that topic.
Chantal, I chose this specific topic over 60. So sorry, over 50 and 60 and 70s, because that is the age where Tantra is transforming. These women, these are women that chooses, they want sex to
Evolutionate, yes.
And they are choosing for tantric sex is not only slow sex, it's connection. And that's the hunger. The clients that I have, the ladies that come to me, they have a hunger for connection. And Tantra does provide that. So I prepared tonight for these ladies, okay? Tantra, I want to share some things. Besides only people above 50, I would like to say that what you guys were telling about Tantra, Tantra has different, they have taken several roads along the way. And it is not something new. However, it's coming back, okay? Because of the needs and the evolution in women, specifically women, Tantra is coming back in another suit, okay? So later on, I would love to share the kind of suit this Tantric experience is giving the women and the couples 50 years and older, because the Tantric does give you the space for not to perform. It doesn't give you stress. So at this age, you don't have mortgages, you don't have, your kids are out of the house, and you need something that brings you another kind of experience, and that is what Tantric sex is providing these couples. And when someone tells me, no, it's boring, it's slow sex, no, it's deep sex, it's deep sensation, it's not superficial. And that's why the chemical that you ignite during tantric sex, they stay longer. And when you think back, because when the act is over, then during the day you'll be thinking, hey, that was a good kiss.
Yep.
The endorphins, the oxytocin, the endorphins come back.
Or it stays there.
Yep.
Because it was so
stays for
high.
longer.
And every time that you go in the thought, it's like you're
Yes.
actually in the moment.
Yes, that is what it provides to your health. And that's why when a younger person tells me, "Well, that's boring." No, you need to take it. You need to understand how your body is all about.
So I want to tap into there.
Yes.
You talk about you need to understand. They say it's boring. Now, when we talk about tantric sex, it's not about the penetration per se, because sometimes there is no penetration at all. Because Bryan is going to talk a little bit about tantric sex for one. So, and that doesn't necessarily need to even have a toy to get to that height level. It's more about the spirituality. It's more about increasing that awareness of yourself. It's more about not being self-conscious and actually being in the moment of now. That's basically what tantric sex is about. We have one of our stars that talks very highly about tantric sex is Sting. For those who know Sting, in my generation and Dina's and more probably Arianne, they know who Sting is. Bryan, I don't know. Do you know who Sting is?
Yes.
Okay, thank God.
Yes, absolutely. I think I'm the 5% of the man that knows about it.
But yeah, so talking about tantric sex, again, it is about, there is no beginning, there's no middle, there's no end. It's about being more aware of yourself. It's about connecting to those energies. There are 3 stages in tantric sex, which are physical, emotional, and spiritual. Very, very important. So tantric sex can be what you make of it, but the main thing is that it focuses on you entirely. And if you do it together with your partner, it focuses about your energies together and how that flows and how you create that continuous flow. Arianne said it very well. It can continue with you throughout the day. That orgasm that you do or do not get can be there for you for 24 hours or more. When we talk about sex, it's wham, bam, thank you, man, bang, 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 done, orgasm, and release. No, tantric sex goes beyond that. It is amazing. When you have that experience, it's one that you don't want to come back from. You want to do it over and over again. And then you get to that boring part that they talk about. The beauty about tantric sex is you can continue to evolve it and make that experience even bigger and larger and more
I
grand.
would like to add something on that.
Yes.
I like when I do my soirees, I would like to go back to the women that's in a couple of the 1800s women, okay, the time of Victorian time, okay. Women at that age, they were taught to service the men, and men were using women. Okay, that was the practice.
Oh,
okay?
in this day and age, it still happens, by the way.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to bring home. So now you have a choice, because either you are the conventional type, the Victorian type, you service the man, so you need to give him a blowjob, you need to perform, you need to do everything you need, or you choose the tantric side, which is like, I would like to, mention the conventional side as a menu, a 3-course meal. So you are like, you have a starter, you have a main course, and a dessert. So you start with the foreplay, then you have the intercourse, and then you need to take care of each other. Okay, that's the conventional style. But the tantric is the picnic. Okay, where you go straight for the dessert, or you go straight for the dip. And Tantra allows you to pick and choose rather sticking to a set of, this is how it's supposed to be. And I have a story. I'm a storyteller. For me, that's very important. I have a client.
Dina stories?
Yes, I have a client, and she came to me. I do teach people how to go and date the right way. So she got to know someone, a very nice person. My client is the lady, and she got to know a male. So she didn't want to have sex, because for her that's very important. That's what I teach my clients also. Sex is the take your time with that. Okay, so she wanted the connection. So in this gentleman, I'm naming him a gentleman because he is a gentleman. He knows the tantric style, so he pursues women, and he he kisses like he takes his time to kiss and to savor and to connect. That's tantric. So she kissed her in I think the third date, and she felt he was allowed to go to her nipples, not further than that. So he was allowed to go to the nipples, and she got a nipple orgasm. And she said, this lady is, I think, almost 60. She said, Dina, it's the first time I got a nipple orgasm, and without any clitoral stimulation. And I felt the orgasm. I felt the connection. And that's tantric. That's mindful. So that's what, more of that is needed between us, okay, young and old. So I'm stopping with the storytelling. So I'm either giving it to Arianne or you, Bryan.
So I actually want to have Arianne start first. So I'm timekeeper as usual because I love to keep the flow smooth. But Arianne has some very interesting topics to converse about when it comes to the physical, emotional, and the spiritual. And then I want Bryan to tap in after because he will focus more on tantric sex for one. So Arianne, the floor is yours.
And some kinky stuff.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about eroticism, sensuality, and how it connects to sexuality. So we're all talking about the connection, the taking the time, acknowledging every moment. And it's very important to say that we often confuse sensuality with sexuality. True. It's not the same. So in all my classes, in my dance classes, for those that know me, I teach sensual lady styling, and I always ask everybody, do you know what sensuality means? And I get all types of answers: sexiness, feeling yourself, etc., etc., which I always say those are all good things. But sensuality can exist without a sexual feeling and or intention. So it doesn't have to be that you are sexual, but you are sensual. And sensuality basically means you are connected with all your five senses. So as Dina was explaining about her client, of taking that diving into that deep kiss and how she felt because the guy was actually taking his time. It was connecting with all of her senses, of her energy. And that's why she got to experience an orgasm without having sexual intercourse. So that is very important to people to understand. And also what I teach as well is my very famous sensual walk, because sensuality comes with walking, it comes with eating, it comes with dancing, it comes with meditation. So all those parts are actually sensuality. So no, it's not about being sexy. It kind of is, but a bit more.
It's sexy without being sexy. It's unconsciously being sexy, yeah.
It's not the sexy that we know in the industry, but it's a higher and sacred type of sexy. So I would like to share also what type of tantric practices are used with sensuality. So here goes. There's elements of traditional massage. So everybody that takes a massage, it's a tantric experience because your masseuse is supposed to take its time, slowing down every inch of your body to massage it. You have sensual touching. So that may be a simple caress or energetic, you're playing with your energetic field. Guided meditation is also a tantric practice, which is very interesting because I meditate and I never got to connect those like I am actually slowing down, because meditation means that you're slowing down. So you're sitting and you're taking your time, clearing your mind. So it's a tantric practice. So not tantric sex, but tantric massage. So we're not talking about the sexuality of
How, when you talk about the tantric massage, just tapping into what you're saying, it's the I don't know if it's the healing massage that you have, that you get that outer body experience, that you go to
Yes.
different level, you focus
Yes.
more on the energy. So that's what you mean. Interesting.
Yes. So you have that, and then you have motion, you have the gazing, and you have the breath work. So those are all elements that you can use in the experience of the tantric massage. So you hear of, if you've ever heard of Kama Sutra, they say you have to build up the connection with your partner. So one of the things that I love myself is the connection of eye gazing, because in a person's eye, they say you can see it.
They're so super powerful.
Yes. So
And when you connect that with breathing, mind blowing.
yes.
I totally agree.
And what I want to share as well, because we have different tantric practices on this side of the Western side, but some actual tantric practitioners, they exist. They coach people. They dive deep into all these steps of the tantric massages, and there is also a more intimate version of tantric massage, which includes a yoni and lingam massage.
Yes.
For
Do you want to
those-
give a short explanation? Very short.
Yeah.
We've talked about lingam and yoni massages
Yeah.
in our former podcast,
Yeah.
but since we have our beautiful Arianne here tonight, we're going to give her an opportunity to give an explanation of what that is.
Okay, so the yoni, most of everybody thinks knows what yoni means. It's another name for vulva, and the lingam is the tantric term for the male genital. So a yoni
penis.
massage, yes, Bryan, a penis.
Literally, yes.
Thank you.
we can say it. We can say it because this is an open space.
Okay,
A
so it's a penis. A lingam is a penis. It's a very nicer word for me to say instead of penis. So a yoni massage doesn't naturally means that you are going to masturbate to orgasm. It's about feeling your vulva, feeling your clitoris, feeling all those nice senses that your vulva has. And for the lingam as well, you massage the whole lingam completely without, it doesn't even have to be that you have an erection.
Nope.
I would like to add on to that. You know what? Because there are massage spas. I don't want to name them otherwise, because I would like to keep this upscale. There are some massage places here on the island that do give
Happy endings.
happy endings. And those are not lingam massage. Those are not yoni massages. I don't, on the island up until now, I haven't heard there is a professional providing this service, because it is totally holistic, energetic for the health.
Yeah.
And there is no happy ending. So for us to be very clear on
Well,
that.
with a partner can be happy ending, but it's actually the practice of lingam massage and yoni massage is to honor the part of the human beings. So it's not focused on the sex, which where people are doing with the happy ending and offering this service with a happy ending. That is not supposed to be. It's supposed to honor and respect and connect spiritually on the spiritual side of the lingam or the yoni.
And also adding on to that, this lingam and yoni massage, aside from connecting spiritually and emotionally and mentally to you, it also helps you to release those traumas.
Yes.
That is one of the main goals of this type of massage, because it focuses on that self-love, about how you connect to your body, how you utterly and totally, genuinely, with no judgment, just completely love yourself. This massage is focused on having no subconscious, no inhibitions, no insecurities, just completely releasing. And I've heard from people who have had these massages in the past that a lot of their traumas were so deep that this massage assisted them to be able to release them. And it wasn't pretty. I mean, the experience was beautiful, but they were crying, they were in tears, they were in pain. There's a lot of hurt that just came out. So these massages help in many ways. They're very healing. And to Dina's point, indeed, there's not a location on Aruba that has that option. We are definitely in need of it, because I strongly believe that it can help a lot of people. Now, learning how to give that massage is the other side of it as well, because the person who's actually giving it, providing it, needs to know, needs to be 100% sure that what they're doing is a healing.
Yes.
It's not just like I'm giving you a massage and good to go.
And you know what, Chantal? I am like little bit skeptical if the island is ready for this.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so but that's why I use this means to make it clear it is needed. However, educational wise, the island is not ready.
No. So that's why
So-
PillowTalk is here. So Bryan,
Yes.
go ahead, because we've been chit-chatting
So
all over. Now it's your turn.
I want to tap something like, actually, you don't need an extra. Well, you can have an extra person to do the Joni massage and the Linga massage, but also me and Dina, we're working on teach other people how to give themselves Yoni and Linga massage. Mostly, I'm working on creating a workshop where a person can learn how, like a male can learn how to do Linga massage for himself. And it's something that is beautiful because it gives you the time to connect, to explore your body, to, you know, we mostly live in a life where we are rushed. Like, even me, I live like Aruba's lifestyle is very relaxed and chill, but still we rush into things. We want things now.
Yeah.
And me living here in New York, I see it more. And, you know, talking about Tantra for one, I found this that it was so beautiful to learn because I practice semen retention, and implementing the techniques of Tantra into semen retention allowed me to have the intimate moment with myself. Something that is very nice about the practice is that the first thing that they say to you, take a deep breath and let it drop into your body. So allow yourself to connect with your body, allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to connect and feel that spiritual side and the energy, because we are mostly energy, everything. We always think that is the physical part, or we blame it on the material or external things outside of us, that we said like, oh, I feel this way because this person or because this things is going on with me, and we don't see the energy side of us that is most important. And finding out that there's people that are out there combining the kinky stuff with the tantra was for me amazing, because actually in my path with sexuality, I always see or was taught that sexuality and spirituality was separate. Everything was like not accepted. Like, you cannot combine spirituality with sex. And even I'm gonna be honest, the social life, the religion life, they always separate always the sex from the human beings. And we are sexual and spiritual human beings. We can be everything that we want, and we can put everything together. And connecting with that part where we're no clothes, we're naked, and we are completely ourselves is so beautiful and so special that it allows you to become humble and to let ego go. That is one of the most beautiful things, when you let the ego go and you're yourself, completely yourself, and you're taking care of yourself. And I said that the tantra practice is the part that serves not the body, it serves the soul. So when you're practicing tantra, instead of concentrating in the body, you're serving the soul. You're taking care of that part in an intimate moment with yourself and your soul, and connecting with the highest frequency, I can say.
Yeah, and it's actually beautiful. It is a total out-of-body experience in so many ways. Bryan, you definitely preached it so gorgeously. This whole tantric experience, the definition of what it's about is beyond. And that disconnect between spirituality and physical and emotional is something that society or some person in a high office somewhere thought they would write it down in the book, and that's the way it's supposed to be, and everybody just followed like sheep. but the reality is so different. And I think for me personally, and I think in this room and people that are talking to me who have reached a certain age in life experience, that you look at sex, the entirety of sex, completely differently. But if you don't have the right education, you still look at it as like, okay, I just stick the penis in the vagina, I got to in and out, come and done. Whereas
Vulva.
Oh, sorry. No, but I mean, the reality is how people think, right? But
People doesn't know that actually it's vulva.
It is a
I was
vulva.
really-
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I learned about it.
I
and was
apologize. I
like,
stand
it's a vulva.
corrected. Brian is correcting me about something that I have and he doesn't, and I love him for it. So the penis
for
into
vulvas.
the penis into the vulva, in and out until you have an orgasm and done. But when they talk about the beauty about the tantric learning is that it's not necessarily about that penetration. It's about being connected with your entire body, being connected with your partner, having that flow of energy together. I mean, I've had the pleasure of enjoying that tantric experience with my partner, and I have to tell you, it is something that you cannot explain unless you go through it. But you need to be educated. You need to know what you're doing, where you're going, and what you're looking for. You need to connect to your sacral chakra. If your sacral chakra is not open and ready for it, if you're not in tune with your body and with your mind, with your physical, emotional, and spiritual, you cannot reach to that point. If you're not willing to receive and to give, this whole tantric experience, all this information we're giving you tonight is going to be, okay, great, nice information, thank you very much. It takes time, it takes effort, but you have to be in tune. The whole sacredness of sex in general, that's something that we want to share and we want to teach more people. Sex is beautiful. Sex can be kinky and it can be nasty, but in a very beautiful way. But sharing it with yourself or with somebody else is nice. It is good, and it is a necessity. It is not I have to get it out of my system done. No, there's so much more behind it. I mentioned it a few times already, and I'm going to say it again, and I want to read it because this is good for you to know. The tantric sexual experiences talks about they're divided in 3 stages: the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual. Arianne was talking about the eroticism, the sensuality, and sexuality. So the physical is like stop talking, slow down, enjoy sex without orgasms, breathe life into it. The emotionals, try to say what you want to happen, reorganize your emotional experiences with your partner. Remember that neither of you are perfect. Look each other in the eyes. Try to access how you feel about your partner in a sexual contact. And then you talk about the spiritual. Remember that sex isn't just a union of bodies. It is a union of 2 people that move beyond self-absorption. There's no narcissism. There's no judgment. There's nothing. Stepping outside of the box.
Yes.
Yeah, but Chantal, I would like to add something on it because you say it beautifully. That's how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
However, it doesn't come all by itself.
No.
Okay, both of the partners should work on themselves.
Yes.
Before.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would like to tackle the male because usually
Ouch.
because it's very, very normal or delicious really, to go and just have an erection and come and ejaculate and done with it and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. However, the male has to do its part because in the tantric philosophy, your job is to heighten the lady, heat her up. She needs to get totally energized and into it and juicy, and that's your job for the world. If you understand who you are, why you came as a man, not as a male and not as a female. Your job is to create that energy in the woman so that the world can be more happier. So if you just come, ejaculate and come in the woman and give her shit, sorry, we are allowed to do that.
Yay! We have a space to say whatever we want.
That is the energy that you are creating around you. That's why you don't have the money, enough money. Shit is happening around you because you are not providing. You don't know who you are.
And you are unhappy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we teach.
Yeah.
I give tantric experience or sex workshop to my couples, because if you are not functioning as a partnership, you need an extra tool, which is tantric sex, to slow down and get to know each other on a different level.
And that'll make you connect even better,
Yes.
and then everything else will fall into place.
Eye gazing, breathing, orbit breathing, those kind of tips I can give you. However, as we always say to you, if you go and Google, and you can try and get your partner in, but if you have a coach and you invest in your intimacy, it is a totally another experience in your life. Okay, then your partner will not take it lightly. The coach will help you guys to take it very seriously, because as we always say, a divorce will cost you more than an investment.
Yeah.
So, Bryan, Dina was so gracious to share a little bit about the couples and the workshops that she has. Your topic tonight, or your conversation in this tantric sex, is about tantric sex for one. So, I want to ask you, what does that mean and how does it work?
So, something that I want to add to what Dina said and bring it into the tantra for one, is that tantra sex is not about performing. It's about letting go. So when we mostly get into sex, it's like, okay, I have to perform. I have to do this. I have to go and do this. When you go into tantric, you're connecting with the person, and you're letting go everything. Like you let go your emotions, you let go your thoughts. And one advice that I can give people that want to go deep into the tantric practice is that you have to let go completely. It's not expecting, because there's videos out there in internet, in porn side, that they are practicing tantric sex, and they see that these people are vibrating or they're shaking and doing noises, and they expect people try to practice tantra expecting to do the same. So something beautiful about tantra is that you don't perform. You just get in a moment of silence and you connect with yourself. When you practice tantra for one, is giving a time to yourself, get in a silent moment where you give yourself opportunity to let all the emotions come up and clean all that, like let all your thoughts come up, your emotions, and start cleaning and start making your energy higher. So that's something very important to keep in mind. You don't get into tantra expecting that, like in sex, that is the appetizer, the intercourse. No, it's like, just give yourself the time and give yourself the moment to serve your soul. And also something that I want to add is that tantra is so beautiful that you can practice with anything. So if you're in a religion, or you follow a philosophy, you can add tantra to your life, because tantra, it doesn't force you to be part of something. It's just a practice that you can add to your life. It's actually a tool that you can add to your life. And that is the beautiful of tantra. Even that's why I like tantra, because you can mix tantra with BDSM. That is something that I love.
Nice.
I'm the kinky one of the group. So yes. So tantra with kinky is something that I was not expecting, because when let's say the dominant and the submissive, the dominant, the submissive. Well, it's funny because in BDSM we said that the submissive serve the dominant, but actually it's the opposite.
Yes, the opposite.
The dominant serve the submissive. So instead of taking the BDSM, thinking about the physical, or thinking about the sex in the moment, or the sexual act, you think it as a spiritual side. So you allowed first to connect spiritually, and then you implement all these things, like the toys, like the role play, the rules that I command you have to do this. So Oh, I get excited about talking about it.
You know, Bryan, I'm going to cut in between. You know what is beautiful? You're talking about introducing this tantric philosophy into whatever kink that you have. The goal of tantric is that there are no rules, so you can adapt it to whatever area. I talked about it earlier, or I was talking to the ladies about it. When you take tantric and you dissect it, tan means to expand, weave, or join, and tra means a tool. So tantra is a tool to liberate, to bring together, or to expand. So when you're explaining about BDSM and tantric together, you're definitely liberating because you have the dom and the sub, and how do you find that balance? And then you bring together because you're bringing two different philosophies together and you're making it pretty exciting. And there are no rules for tantric, but there are rules for BDSM, and how do you incorporate them together? So, and then how do you make that connection even more wow? Because BDSM is a philosophy on its own. It's a kink indeed, but it is definitely a lifestyle. Tantric is also a lifestyle. Bryan, to your point where you said it's not only the sexual part, but it's also an everyday thing. The beauty about it is that you don't necessarily need to have an orgasmic experience when it comes to tantric sex, but the philosophy itself of being in tune with yourself, loving your body, you know, looking for that physical, that emotional and spiritual, and being on a level that just creates those higher vibrations. I talk about my coach, who's my dear lady here to my left. She's definitely an example for me all the time as to how you keep those vibrations high. So that is one of the respects that I have for her, because no matter what, her vibrations are always high. She may not be ultra sexual at that moment, but her tantric level is always high.
Constant.
It's constant, yeah. So that's a great example.
One of the benefits about practice Tantra for one is that help you to work on your feminine and masculine energy.
Yes.
So you explore both, because sometimes when, like mostly for straight couples, there's this play of I'm the masculine, you're the feminine, because you're a woman, I'm a man. But when you're practicing Tantra for one, you're practicing your masculine energy, sorry, not male, your masculine energy and your feminine energy. You're allowing these two energies to be part of you in a moment that you're having with yourself.
But I would like to share tantric experience with the ones that are listening to us or are viewing us. So you can have a tantric experience with an orange.
Yes.
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 You can peel it.
So for some people will be weird to see this.
You can you can have an orange and peel it, and you will smell it. Smell. That's mindfully peeling the the orange.
You start with feeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not onion, please.
The texture.
Yes,
its
you
wetness.
You can start by feeling the onion.
Orange.
Why am I using the onion?
Orange.
The orange. You can start because it has a very peculiar outside
texture.
The texture, yes.
So when you start peeling it, it provides a kind of smell, and it's very, very
Citrus scent.
yes, and it's very intense. When you place the orange in your mouth, on your tongue, then you'll need to leave it there and savor and feel where is the part of your tongue that is really enjoying the taste. Because we eat oranges, but we never eat it mindfully.
We never savor it.
Yes.
We always seen the like in movies when the ladies go and eat a banana and they peel it like super slowly, like they want to portray it sexually, but it's actually being in the moment and using all your senses, your visual.
That's why I don't use the banana. You know why? Because it gives you another a level.
Yeah.
That's why I use an orange, because it does provide citrus.
Yeah.
Does provide all the elements on your tongue.
Yes.
And if you close your eyes, and you can really make love with the orange. That's what they say to me. They teach you. That's why I teach people also. Be mindful when you eat an orange.
So I would compare it with, for me, I've had the pleasure of working and training for a junior sommelier, and then as a sommelier in wines, you need to learn to savor the different kind of smells, because when you smell the glass of wine, you need to be able to catch which aroma, which essence. And that's pretty much around the same area. What they would teach me, and I was the crazy girl at the supermarket who would take all the fruits and vegetables and I'd stick it in my nose, and I'd have a moment and I'd really close my eyes and really take in the scent. And that's how I learned to differentiate the different flavors and different scents. So the same thing as with the orange, where you take a moment, you touch it, you feel it, you put it in your mouth, you smell it, you go through all those emotions, the different senses in your body. That's the same thing.
Actually, you can finger it.
Yes, you can.
Yes, that too.
Yes. No, I'm not lying. You can finger it. You're making love to the orange. You can smell it, taste it, touch it, and finger it. You can how you say it? You can acariciar. Oh my God, I forgot the word.
Caress it.
Caress, Bryan.
Yes. So you can do everything to that orange. You can, and it's not a human being. It's connecting with the nature in some way.
Yes.
It's the same as you have Woman Gone Wild or the Woman Be Wild. I think she's on Instagram, and she always takes pictures naked in the wilderness, and she always talks about connecting to the outside and just being one with your body and with nature.
It's like a somatic experience.
Yes.
So I wanted to share
Go
something, because Bryan was also, we are all mentioning it being mind, body, and soul. And one thing that I should add on is the type of sessions that we are talking about are very useful for learning what kind of pleasure your potential for the experience that you want to have should be. And another thing is talking about eroticism, sensuality, and sexuality. All those parts also come in tantric sex. And the eroticism, I would like to dive a bit deeper in it, is erotica means desire. It comes from a Greek word that means eros. And erotic is defined as an arousing or satisfying experience. But it's a mindful experience. It's not a bodily experience. So a lot of how society has been handling this industry or this area, this sacred practice, as I love to call it, sex has become something in the mind. So it has become an erotic experience, which means you disconnect from your senses, which means you will never slow down. So if sex is happening in the mind, how are you going to have that experience, you know? So we have our senses, our modes of perception, and our libido or our sexual energy, and our minds, which turns into something erotic. How we bring everything together with the connection of our senses, with the vibration that we feel in our body, because we were saying the spirituality and the sexuality, bringing it together. That's how it becomes a tantric experience. You cannot only be spiritual or only religious and take sex out of it. Sex is our existence, it's our creation, it's everything that, like Bryan said, how we are, how we can be. So that's what I wanted to share.
Oh my gosh, if I listen to what we're talking, all these people, the super intellect tonight, it's like impressive. I wonder if our listeners out there are as mind blown as I am, because it's so much interesting information. I mean, aside from what I did for research to prepare for tonight and to learn a little bit more, I have dove into Tantric, the Tantric belief, Tantric philosophy before, and trying to understand where it comes from. Sharing it with all of you tonight has been a wonderful honor. I wonder, though, if our listeners out there are as ready for this tantric experience as we are, because we're super excited about it.
Well, actually, we took a long to talk about tantric sex because we were scared, because sometimes we felt that when we was going with some topics, people was like, oh no, it's too much for me. But we said, okay, we have like almost, we are going for, well, we have like more than half year here on, and we're around 35 podcast episodes already, and we was like, okay, is the moment, we have to talk about tantra sex. Let's go for it.
We have to bring it out because it has to be known. We have to plant that seed. We need to start this revolution, and people need to start looking at this whole sexual experience and stepping it up. I mean, for those of you who have been in a long-term relationship, or for those of you who have not been in a long-term relationship and are just messing around and just are like empty, just looking for whatever they find, just a body to connect to another body. We want to show you that there's another way also. When we talk about sex, it is sacred. It is not just an act of like a moment and thank you, wham, bam, and ciao. There's so much more to it.
It's healing.
It's
Yeah.
very,
And I
yes.
want to add something else.
When you're ready, I'm going to add something on what you are going to add.
Okay. So Tantra is like, for I'm gonna be honest. I have explored many things, even sex with women.
And this guy is not even
Sex
30,
with a woman?
ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen.
I try many things, and I always felt like I needed more. I'm not finding what I'm looking for. Once I connect the spiritual side, it was like taking sex to another level, taken to the next level. So for all that people that feeling that sex have became the same thing, and they're feeling like is empty and is not fulfilling, tantric sex is the practice that will take the intimacy to the next level, as Dina always says.
Yes. I'm going to add to what Bryan just said. I will add with a story. I had some soirees. I was very busy this last weekend. And after a soiree, I usually during the soiree I do provide a free discovery session. So a lady came to me, mature lady, and she said, "Look, Dina, I'm single, and because of the new ways, I was told I need to pursue men, and I need to have a fuck body, and etc., etc. But Dina, after listening to you, I decided to stop it with this fuck body."
Amen. Preach, girl. Woo! Shout out to you,
And
honey.
look, guys, I'm really, really very serious. Women, and I do put this time I do talk to women. If you don't stop it, it will continue.
If you don't break the cycle, it'll continue
It will
rolling.
continue. So you are the one that's feeling it. It doesn't feel right. There is no connection. It's empty.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to pursue that guy? I'm the queen. So if you feel that, it's because that's how it's supposed to be.
Yep.
You are the queen. And if the guy is doing as if you need to pursue him, it's his loss. Because those boobs and those ass, they're not real. It will not last. It will not give him happiness for a long while.
It's a temporary thing.
It's a temporary thing. So it's all in our hands. If we continue to entertain mediocrity, you will get a mediocrity.
Preach, sister, preach.
Love it.
Yes.
I can even do this and like.
Hail, Dina.
But what Dina shares is true, because if you keep going back in that vicious cycle of having that fuck body and the karmic connection that you will keep bringing in your life, this will sabotage all your manifestation, all your healing, everything. So ladies, you know what to do. Self-love,
Break
self-care.
the cycle. Yes, yes.
And in that same sentence, there are some fetishes. Now I'm going to bring it on the table.
Oh,
Yes,
here they
there
come.
are
Here they
some
come.
fetishes.
Take some notes, ladies and gentlemen. Take the notes.
That you need to know who you are, and you need to follow your heart, because sometimes you need that flesh. Your flesh need to have that experience for you to have the spiritual
Enlightenment.
and spiritual,
Raising the vibration.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's like you need that. Using the flesh, it will help you go beyond in your spiritual journey.
Yeah.
But you need to know who you are first, because if you have just a fuck body and you feel like shit, then you're not on a spiritual journey.
No.
But sometimes you are on a spiritual journey, and you have to have that connection, and you need to do it.
Yep. So what
that's why important to start with the tantra for one, to connect with yourself.
Yeah.
I gonna bring a story. I met a couple that they used to practice tantra. Once they broke up, the girl was not able to connect with anyone because she was relaying on the energy and the connection with the guy. And she went through a period where she had to look into herself and connect with herself, to learn connect with herself, because she was focusing that only the tantric sex and the connection and the energy that she was feeling was because this guy, and she was wrong. And that's happened to people. People don't, they even without tantric practice, they believe that the sex is depends on the person that they are with and not because themselves.
Yep, very good point, Bryan. So yeah, we've mentioned some very interesting topics today. The only topic we didn't really tap into was the one that Dina wanted to talk about, tantric after 50. It was a very short. We had so much to talk about the tantric for one. I think that was definitely topic today. So I think we're going to come back on that tantric for 50, after 50, because there are people out there in that age group that definitely benefit from this. To your point, Bryan, when we talked about tantric sex tonight, what it is about, what the importance of it, etc. But very good point that you brought forward. If you go into this philosophy, into this practice, and then you still need to continue with the self-love outside of the tantric, because whatever happens with your partner, if you stay with them or not, you need to be able to continue moving forward. Now, I wanted to share a few affirmations that they put into tantric sex. I think they're very nice to share with all of our listeners today. And I think it's a good way to sort of like end our evening. So I'm going to mention them, and I'm going to give you a moment to close your eyes and listen. The affirmations for the tantric sex tonight are: I am giving myself permission to enjoy my sexuality. I know that pleasure is an important, sacred part of my life. Being able to enjoy sex and sensuality brings me joy and nourishes my spirit. I am allowing my emotions to fill me in a good way. My life is pleasurable and graceful. Beautiful. I think those are definitely a nice way to close off when it comes to the tantric sex. Ladies, do you have anything you want to add on before I close the night?
Yes, I would like to say I love you.
Aww.
Oh,
But I do.
We love
I
you
hope
too.
it's not the prosecco.
No. So, before we end our night in the month of love, February, where we celebrate love more than we celebrate it on a regular basis, because February is Valentine's month. Actually, when you look up what Valentine's actually means, you'd be shocked. It has nothing to do with love. But that's besides the point. I wanted to give thank you to our sponsors, which are Qredits, Subway, SwingMasterz, and of course, our wonderful Sopi Mix Studio. Without them, we wouldn't be here tonight to share with you all that sex education that you need to hear. PillowTalk is here to make it better for you. We want to make it a sexier world. We have Arianne, we have Dina, we have Bryan, and myself. We're here to open up those little Pandora box topics that nobody wants to talk about, but everybody wants to know about. Then we also have thanks to, of course, our SuccessBlizz, who, if you want that free discovery session, please DM her and then sign up for an appointment. We have Yonilove, Aruba, Joe, me, myself, and I, where we talk about crystals and how you connect that to your sensuality. We have Arianne, and we have, of course, Matiz. Matiz makes it happen. He's the one who enhances your brand. Like, super awesome. Arianne, thank you for joining us tonight. It's wonderful having you with us, with the team. We look forward to having you again and again and again and again. It's really great to have her with us. Bryan, desde Nueva York, we love you as always. You're wonderful. Dina, my beauty.
Love you too.
Dina, thank you so much. We're going to close up for tonight. We wish you all a wonderful evening. Go and give a hug to that loved one you have. Give them an extra kiss and just tell them that you love them. Or just call them up and send them a message. You know, whatever it takes. That 2 minutes that you take to tell your person you love them is also a form of Tantra. Because you're definitely focusing on, connecting. I want to thank everybody for being with us tonight. We're going to leave you, and we'll see you next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. on PillowTalk Sopi Mix Studio. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
PillowTalk, powered by SuccessBlizz. There is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. Yonilove, seduce from within. Matiz, enhancing your